Good evening, GBA Nation. With the ongoing developments as a result of coronavirus COVID-19 in recent days, the GBA is temporarily postponing all GBA events for the next 3 weeks and look to resume playing the weekend of April 4th and 5th. The GBA staff's first priority is the health and safety of all our players, coaches, parents, and staff throughout GBA Nation. The GBA will continue to monitor the situation and keep everyone updated. Please continue to check all GBA social media outlets and the website for updates. We look forward to resuming the 2020 spring schedule in the very near future. Stay safe and God bless all of GBA Nation. Please don't hesitate to contact Jeff at 740-630-7188 if you have any questions. So fellas, with the virus going around, we've had to postpone for the next 3 weeks, but as far we say postpone and not cancel, and hopefully that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's crazy how many phone calls and texts we have already of people, checking in, the GBA Nation and faithful wanting to play, but we want to be safe first and foremost with our staff, especially with the grandparents, the young kids coming and the parents coming to the tournament, along with the players as well. We've got to take that into consideration first. We're kind of following the guidelines a little bit of the OHSAA when they canceled the state basketball tournaments this weekend and the NCAA tournament. There was no way that in our heart that we could feel like that we could run a basketball tournament, even though some of the coaches and players wanted to play, but we just can't do that. And we need to get things under control there first and let everything takes its course, and then hopefully, like I said, we're right now tentatively scheduled to come back April 4th and 5th weekend.
And John, plus with the governor closing school down across the state for the next 3 weeks, this statement really made perfect sense.
Yeah, it only makes sense. I mean, let's face it, we do this for the kids and we do it for the that's why we do this. So, and the safety and so we want to make sure that we're following all those guidelines as well, for everybody out there. And so we've been working, like I said, we're going to come back, resume April 4th and 5th. With that being said, these March events, we're working to reschedule some of those. Some of those are already in the works for dates later down the road. We'll be announcing some of that over the next week or two as we finalize the details with that. But we're going to do our best to reschedule those. And then we understand we're going to have to make some adjustments as we go through, but we're very confident that once, if everybody follows the guidelines and we take this, for the next couple weeks, that we can resume, activity here, once we get into April.
And Jeff, we want everybody to be safe, and that's our number one priority. But like John was just touching on, these tournaments that we're not going to be at this weekend, Dublin and at Ronnie's place in Cincinnati, and then the next 2 weeks, those are some places we look real forward to, and they've been very good to the GBA, and it's great to hear that hopefully we'll get to those venues, just not in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we have talked to everybody and we plan on rescheduling, and to be quite honest with you, over the next couple weeks, we're planning as a group together because we want to go back to those places. So for a lot of groups are asking me, hey, can we get our tournaments in? Are we going to get our games in? Yes, we are looking at several different options, and we'll be putting them out over the next few weeks. Options are, continue the season a little longer. The option is, to take, if depending on school, when you're in school, and, if you're with your school teams in the month of June, maybe we continue in July or August. September, maybe run a couple tournaments. We may do some fall tournaments as well. So we're looking at, a ton of different options for the teams, because I know a lot of the parents are wondering, hey, are we going to get our games in? Are we going to get to play? And when we come back, hopefully it's April 4th and 5th weekend, and it may not be at full strength. It may not be all 3 or 4 tournaments that we have scheduled that weekend. So with that being said, it's going to be important to get into our tournaments, because and we're going to be loyal, especially to the top groups that play in our tournaments. We're going to try to work all of those teams in so they get their games in and they get to play. And if it's restriction on the number of people that's allowed in the gym, we may do 4th and 5th and 6th grade the first part of the day, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, 10th and 11th grade later part of the day. So there's all different kind of options we could do. We are going to, as soon as we get the virus under control, we will make it work for our GBA Nation, I think, and we'll get them the games and the tournaments that they want to play in, because it's fun. And I'll be honest with you, right now we should be on our way to Cincinnati and Columbus, and instead we're making a statement here today, and the van should be loaded almost and on our way to go to to start the season. But the good thing is, March is the slow month. So, but it hasn't been over the last 2 years. It's really picked up, but that's kind of like the slowest month. So, April and May is where we really kick in June with the Nationals, and we may add a few tournaments after that. So just stay tuned. It all depends on how things pan out as to when we start. But if something would happen that, then obviously we would move the tournaments up. But our scheduled date right now is April 4th and 5th weekend, and to host a few events there and get back on the courts real soon.
And John, it's good to point out we're shooting for April 4th and 5th. It'd be great if it's sooner than that, but a GBA event will not take place unless, number one, it's completely safe and good to go, and we also have the blessings from the people above us who are making decisions throughout the state.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where we come up with the 3 weeks, because that's what the governor said with the schools. That's what Mr. Snodgrass said with the Ohio High School Athletic Association. So we're very we're going to follow those guidelines, and we're going to stick with that unless something changes. And as Jeff spoke on earlier, April, once we get back in, some of those events, we may have, depending locations and things, we may have to combine, 2 events into one, or what may it be. But as he also said, those top 20 groups that play with the GBA year in, year out, those, if we need to combine something and limit space, those are going to be the groups that we are loyal to first, and then we can open it up to everyone else. But we, as everybody else in the world, that it's going on, we don't know what's going to happen. So we're doing our best to keep things, to figure things out on our end. We'll keep everybody updated on it as well, but we're very confident that here in the next few weeks that we can, get back and, get back on the court with GBA.
Yeah, and fellas, it's really been a punch in the gut to us after last week 1 of the GBA, as successful and as exciting as it was to, now hit this little roadblock. But maybe the blessing is that, they're shutting everything down early and hopefully get things contained and get everybody back up and running. And Jeff, you talk about safety first. We definitely want everybody to follow the guidelines laid out about staying healthy, and that will help everyone in the long run.
Exactly, and we certainly wouldn't want somebody to come to one of our events because we started too early, and someone would have some issues with that or catch the virus or whatever it is. That we definitely do not want that, because I'll be honest with you, we are sick because this is something that we love to do, and we planned this for 8 months or 9 months leading up to this, and we put our heart and soul into it. And this is, I'll be honest with you, this is our myself and John's only job. This is what we do, but we're not asking for sympathy. We'll get out there and we'll get it done, and we'll take care of business, and as soon as we can get back on the court, that's what we're going to do. And I got to tell you, you don't realize who your friends are until you got these guys calling, hey, we still want to play GBA, we want to do, we want to just play in your tournaments, we want to do this, we want to do that. So we're and not just the ones that are just playing in our events, because some of the other ones go to exposure events and all that stuff, and that's great. They need to do that as well for the older kids. But some of these young kids, they look forward to this as well. And we don't want to let them down. We don't want to let the parents down, because we put our heart and soul into it. But we have to do what's right. But this isn't the end for GBA 2020. We are going to come, and we've already got. And I don't want to release a lot of things right now, but we got some other things coming. I mean, we do have a fall league. We work with the girls in Cincinnati or in Columbus, and who knows? There may be some more leagues coming as well. There may be some stuff in Cincinnati and Dayton area. So just be prepared, hang in there, and as soon as we're able, we'll start releasing stuff. And as soon as we could get on the court, as soon as they let us, we will be there.
And John, when we did our GBA show recapping last week, one theme was new team. For all the new teams out there joining the GBA this year, and even to refresh some of the regulars, when we say check the all the GBA social media outlets, you want to give those out, and how often they need to check, especially during this time.
Yeah, we use our GBA Facebook, of course, is GBA basketball. That's our big one, and then also our GBA Twitter page, which is at GBA basketball. And then also on our Instagram page as well, our GBA Hoops. Those are the three majors that we use. We're posting on there. We post on the stories there. And then also our website, gbabasketball.com. Well, we try to keep all those things updated. Check it, if not every day, every other day. But as once we get information and new information about what's going on, we'll get that out to you guys, as soon as we can. And then, just to touch on one other thing, I know we've had some groups reaching out that maybe can't play, later on, and are asking about refunds and things like that. Be patient. We'll get that process started next week for those that can't play. Because we've got some groups, Tommy, that just play here in March. That then they go into some other sports and things like that. So yes, we're not out there keeping your money. So we'll make sure that full refunds are for those, and we'll get that process started. At the beginning of the week. And
Jeff, one final. When's the big date we're hoping to be back on the courts?
April 4th and 5th weekend. That's our goal right now. If everything works in it, and there was seems like there was some better news today, a little bit of better news, I guess with the OHSAA and the spring sports, and then some of the other things. So we're hoping, and I had a couple other phone calls today, and we'll be reaching out to a lot of the programs too, just touching base and answering any questions you have, and the refunds, if you want to give us a call back. Once again, call my cell phone anytime, 740-630-7188, especially any new teams that need help or guidance with anything, and we will get your refunds, but we will be on the court here soon.
And John, any other?
Yeah, I personally want to say thank you to all those groups, coaches, parents, different people that have reached out to us personally, just saying, hey, they're thinking about things and anything they can do to help us, and they're looking forward to getting going once we get started. So we appreciate all that support out there with everyone, and we promise you, once we get this whole thing under control and we get things figured out, we'll get the information out to you, and we'll get things rolling.
Yeah, please stay safe. Do the simple things, keeping your hands washed and clean, and keep praying that we'll be back on the courts soon. Thanks for joining us this evening from GBA headquarters.